Good day. My name is Mike Zika, and today we're going to go over how to set up a Foundry for a one-shot Savage Worlds game. If you have not watched the introductory video to the series, please do so now. It explains the overall goal of what we're trying to do. So, here is my Foundry setup, and the test game is my actual home game. It's called test game because I started testing out Foundry, and then prototype became the real thing, and I haven't renamed it. But we're going to create a new world, as they refer to it. So we click Create World down here, and give it a title. Fantasy One Shot. And then we have to pick our game system. Obviously, we're picking Savage Worlds. And the rest of this background image, next session, that all can be changed from within the world. And really, I don't use it most of the time, so create the world, and then we launch it. So right here we have our little drop down, and there's only one player right now, me, the game master, and it starts with a blank password, so I can just join. We will be changing the password shortly, and this is how Foundry looks when you first start it up. Very empty, very blank, absolutely no scenes. Well, sometimes there might be a scene here depicting, the Foundry logo, depending which version of Foundry you're using. So we're going to head over to game settings. So the first thing we're going to do is user management, and give the game master a password so no one else can log in. So excuse me as I type in a lot of dots. Okay, then save and return. And then we have to go log in. So a quick run through. Over here we have our different controls. They don't work because we don't have a scene active. We have our pause button. Don't have to worry about that. We have our chat boxes, our combat tracker, our list of scenes, our list of actors, which are players and the bad guys, our item list, which we can use to create new items, our journals, which are just text entries. Actually, it can be text, video, etc. these days. Roll tables are just random tables of stuff. Our card decks, which we use for initiative as well as other things. If we have any music or sounds, we can create playlists here. Compendiums. This is where stuff begins to get interesting. These are basically free. We install Savage Worlds. These are all of the different basic skills, basic powers, etc. But if you click on it, it'll just refer you back to the Savage Worlds rulebook for the description. I actually have purchased the full licensed version of Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, so once we install that, or activate the module, I should say, this whole compendium list will change. And finally, we have our game settings. We can also hide right here and expand it out. So I already did the user management, so we're going to go to Manage Modules next. Mostly because when we go through Configure Settings and Configure Controls, having the modules we're going to use active already will just speed up the process. So these are all the modules I use in my home game. We're not going to use all of them in this setup game. We're just going to pick out the ones that we need. We might add some more later on, but for right now, we're just going to pick out a few. So the first one we really need is Better Rolls 2 for Savage Worlds. This little pop-up here says that, hey, you also need to have these modules installed as well. So let's click that, yes. Better Rolls 2 for Savage Worlds, or BR2, is a great automated die rolling system that does a lot of stuff. It's been constantly updated ever since it got released, and it's just marvelous for automating the game. Let's see, next up is, yeah, a lot of this stuff I don't need. Pop Out is another great module. Pop Out allows you to take all these items within the Foundry and create a separate window for them so you can move around on your screen. I'll show an example of that once I finish selecting here. Obviously, I want the Savage Worlds Edition core rules. This adds in all the additional compendiums that are the official licensed game product. So I have all the text. Pull players to scene is it's always a good one. Just in case you have a player dawdling on a scene that they shouldn't be, you want them into the action. A lot of these other ones are great, but I just we don't have a need for them today. And that is about it. And so we'll just hit save and reload. As we go forward, we will add additional modules as we need them. So now if we go to our compendium list, we see we have a lot more compendiums now, including the complete Savage Worlds rules right here. Now we have all the different races, or example races, technically. The skills now have full text in them. And we go up here to the bestiary. We have icons, etc. So it all looks pretty darn cool. We also have our action deck here. So that looks all cool and looks pretty darn good. One module we want to add in, compendium folders. So now we can expand and collapse these as needed. Okay, on to the settings. So configure settings. And again, this is how I like to set things up. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. We're just going to go through all these different items. As you can see, normally we would just have the core items, but since we added in all those other modules, we have a whole bunch of more options to pick from. So permissions, you can leave this pretty much as is, but here's are the core permissions based on if you're a player, trusted player, assistant GM, or the game master. You can control what they can and cannot do. Audio video configuration, don't have to worry about it because I use Discord. Default token configuration, this is an important one. Big thing that I do here is vision. Vision is enabled. Vision range is always 2 inches. That's because if you just drop a token onto a map that has no lights on it, all you'll see is your token and nothing around you. By giving all the characters 2 inches of vision around, you can see a little bit, just enough so you're not stumbling around literally in the dark and trying to go, hey, I can't go through this wall right here because I can't see it because it's dark. 360 vision is just basic vision. Don't have to do any of this other fun stuff. Detection modes and advanced options, we don't have to worry about. Lighting, we don't have to worry about. Everyone they don't glow in the dark. And there's no things to display in terms of resources. So let's save those. Additional fonts, if you have any custom fonts you want to upload, you can do that here. Otherwise, disable game canvas. It's mostly a performance thing. Enable chat bubbles. I'll turn these off because we're not going to be using them as we'll be using Discord for communication. Don't need that. Left click to release objects. Yeah, we'll keep that connected. And a lot of this other stuff, you can just leave the defaults if you actually want to read and see what they're doing. Okay, down to Savage Worlds Adventure Edition settings. You can also just click right here to go to them. Core, Savage Worlds, etc. Setting configurator. World basics, we want to use the action deck discard pile, adjust pace with wounds. We don't have any vehicles, so we don't have to worry about those. Setting rules. Joker's Wild, yes, we want to use that. None of these other ones I want to use. Our core skills are these right here. This is just plain text, so this has to match the text of the actual skill. We want to use this Suede Adventure Core Rules compendium, because that has all the actual text. Currency, we're not going to use because of the setting, and we don't want to track ammunition. Bennies, we don't have to worry about those. Just use the defaults there, and we don't have any additional stats. So we just save changes. Card sounds, yes. Automatic initiative, yes. Create chat message for initiative now. Hide NPC wildcards, yep. Chat messages when bennies are given, taken, or refreshed, sure. Hide NPC item chat cards. Now we want to show it to all the players. We want to use the full name for attributes, otherwise you'll forget quickly what you shortened it to. And so save those changes. I'm going to back up. Better roles. Global actions. These are the things that will always be available. And nothing here needs to be deselected. You can also create new additional actions here. Optional rules. Wound cap. I want 4 wounds. That's the maximum amount of wounds a character can take in a single hit. So I want to set that up there. Chat modifier's name. We'll just keep the default ones. And this is how you actually do a better roles card or the default system. Single click or shift click, control click, alt click. So we'll just keep it defaults here. Rate of fire, not going to really have to worry about since no one's going to have a rate of fire higher than 1. So we just keep it as is, and everyone can see the results. Expand results. Once we get into seeing how Better Roles 2 actually operates, this will make more sense, but we can just leave these as default closed right now. Subtract ammo by default. We're not going to worry about ammo, or we do worry about PowerPoints, but no one's going to actually have PowerPoints, so it's kind of a pointless configuration for me. Hide reroll on a critical failure. Yes. And the rest of these can remain as is. I keep hitting save. Oops, that's manage modules. Compendium folders. We can just keep these, the defaults inside. Lip wrapper, we don't have to worry about that. These are just low level things. Pop out. Show the pop out button. As you notice, we have the little pop out button right here. It creates a whole separate window that we can take elsewhere, bring back, etc. and then pop it back in. We pop into a window, otherwise we'll pop into a tab. Then we have suck, or the suede ultimate condition changer. And again, you can leave these to as default. So save all those changes. Configure controls. These are just your key bindings. The most important one is T, target token. That's used quite a bit. Otherwise, you can leave these as is. But if you want to see what you can do, you can just scroll through here and see all the different options you have for shortcuts. Like I didn't realize that B would spend a penny. And if you press Alt B, you would receive a penny. I did not realize that until today. So that's our settings, our controls, our modules, and we put the password on our game master. And so we are set up and ready to begin creating our very first scene. Well, that's all for today. I'll see you next session as we begin making our very first scene. If you happen to like this, give me a thumbs up. Have any comments, leave them down below, and be sure to subscribe to get the notification for the next episode. Have a good day.